Catch that hope. Catch that hope. Catch that hope.
They say history is written by the victor, so I don't mind playing the villain. Got a pretty girl to the throne. 'Cause the memories come, and I can't even run. I gotta win this just to prove to me I can. I'll divide and I will conquer. I will battle like a warrior. If I'm dying, getting stronger. I'll divide and I will conquer. You're like all I ever wanted, but couldn't.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How long were you waiting for that? This is a slapdash start to the show. Good evening. Welcome to the Thursday Night Thinkubator. I'm your host, Troy Hitch, but I am not even close to being the most critical part of this program and the effort that's happening behind it as I catch my breath. Walking up, there are 7 flights of stairs to get to the loft studios here in lovely Newport, Kentucky. And I'm a little out of shape. I might have mentioned to you earlier on this morning's stream that I have had a chronic issue with creamsicle novelty ice cream bars. I'm just getting over that, but now I eat as much keto as I can, and I'm not sure if I'm doing it right, but I'm eating a lot of ketos. And is that how you say it? Ketos? Cheetos. I eat a lot of Cheetos. I don't think it's going the way I wanted it to. I wanted it to go north. I think it's going south. You know what I'm saying? Good evening. I'm glad to have you all here. I see Dave on base 32, mostly lurking tonight, in and out of the room, multitasking. Okay. All right. And I don't know who else is... okay. Well, you, Jaco, actually making stir fry with your laptop right next to the stovetop. Stir fry, stovetop, laptop. Don't get those confused. I've done it before. I was going to tell you guys that tonight is going to be a slightly abbreviated show. I can go for about an hour. But man, let me tell you something. I saw what you guys have done on the Miro board, and I was blown away by the... First of all, just the surprise of Miro has this feature where you get the updated things are turned pink, and there was pink all over the boards. I was seriously mind blown, and I haven't really had a chance to pour through it all. I thought we'd do that together tonight. Magical Trevor 2, Flamin' Hot Ketos. I was eating Flamin' Hot Ketos, and they're delicious with keto Mountain Dew. I was told that Mountain Dew's keto. I don't really know how any of that works. I'll be honest with you. I think what you try not to do, I think you try to eat more ketos. You want to put your body into keto, into a keto state. I don't know. They're delicious. I love them. Jaco, you haven't seen any of Dave on Base 32's new stuff yet. Let's go take. You guys want to jump right over there and take a look if you're around and you're looking. Let's see if this works. You know, I've got a new setup. If you hadn't been around this week, I actually last weekend I spent a lot of time trying to reset on all my software, but hopefully this will all work. You're seeing Miro right now. So Dave on bass, and looks like Dave is in here right now. You've had enough keto for the last 4 years. I think the more keto you eat, the stronger you get, or the. I'm still not sure what you're supposed to be doing with that. It sounds cool. What are you doing, keto? Keto sounds like the name of like a wandering martial arts monk, like in a fantasy setting. And then thus spake Keto as he wandered into the village. So yeah, I can't speak for Dave's stuff. I can't speak for any of the stuff on here, frankly. But it looked like he had pink all over his boards. Jaco, I think this is your stuff. And it looks like you started kind of creating the game down here. Is that about the size of it? Should I read through this stuff? Let me try to replenish my energy stores. Now that's keto-licious. Diet Coke, definitely keto. Also the steps above. Yeah, I saw, yeah, man, damn, dude. You did a lot of stuff. You want to read through this? Let's read through this together. If you're new to this stream, Magical Trevor 2, are you guest pioneer? Or is that, no, that's you, Jaco. Magical Trevor 2, if you want in on the Miro board, it's an honor system kind of thing, because you can actually go through and delete all of this stuff, but we're trusting each other. I haven't figured out how to back anything up. But Magical Trevor 2, just say the word and we'll drop. How did we do it before, guys? Did I send an invitation from the board? Let's see how we did that. Yeah. Copy invite link. All right. I'm going to pop it over here. This is what we do. It's a trust fall system here. Oh. Great. What's that link from you, Jaco? Is that just some sort of link encapsulator or something? Oops. Wait, you better delete that. I don't know if we can delete it. Maybe I can delete it. Can I delete a comment? Is that dangerous for that to be out in the wild? Oops. It doesn't matter. Okay. Well, folks, leave Jaco's Notion board alone. What's Notion? Is that something I should know about? Should we be using Notion? Notion.so. You guys want to come over and see what Notion is with me? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe we talked about this, or somebody told me about this. Maybe my friend Baradane told me about this. I do need to know what it is. Yeah, it's sort of like a notes and task manager kind of thing. Is that right? I do have a colleague that has been talking to me about this. God, the thing is, though, there's just a new one of these all the time. Oh, it's only revolutionized productivity? Okay. Yeah, I've heard that before. It does look pretty cool, though. I like all the little drawings. Do those come in the app? Do you have little people wandering around doing the stuff for you? Is that what it is? It's little illustration elves. You track the work and do the work in the same platform. Okay. Is that something we should do? Is that something we should set up for the Thinkubator? Would that help? Who knows? All right. Well, let's thank you for that. Do you have secret work things on your Notion board? Should we just go to your... Okay, just the Miro board's fine. Okay. All right. Trevor made it in. Trevor, it looks like Trevor has an account. Trevor has an account with Miro, so Magical Trevor 2 was all ready to roll. All right, let's get back to Miro. Let's Thinkubate. Let's Thinkubate together. All right, man, Jaco, I want to do your stuff service Magical Trevor 2, I'm not sure how much of this stuff you've seen before. We've been doing this for a few weeks now, so I'm not going to go back. We've done plenty of recaps on what this thing is. Let's just dive in. So, starting over here, there's a glossary. Zone. A ring on the figurative map. There are 4 zones, numbered 0 through 3. Everyone starts the game in zone 0. Okay? And you have a zone sort of system down here. Okay, so there's 4 zones. Zone 0 is the starting zone. Everyone starts the game in zone 0. Magic Trevor 2 wanted you to make one. Maybe you didn't need to. I don't know that you needed to, but it's good that you did. Miro is like a life changer. And I made fun of you, Jaco, for really being excited about Notion. I'm really excited about Miro. We just did something for work this week. That was one of the reasons why I was just so scrambled and still am a little scrambled tonight. But we use Miro. It's like... I actually believe that even though I'm in a business where people, we do our best work when we can all get together and kind of collaborate. I actually think we're more effective using Miro and being remote and doing this virtually. It's unreal. I never would have thought that I'd say that. And I still miss a lot of the intangibles of being together when we're in a room. And definitely, obviously we're doing video conferencing and stuff where we're actually talking to each other. This is painful because I have to be this sort of narrator for you guys. It is a little handicapping in here, but I think at some point we're probably going to transcend the bounds of this sort of one-way broadcast and get into something more discussion-y. I'm hoping. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. I want to get through this stuff, and I really want to try and make our time a little more productive, because I think whoever, by the way, if you're a lurker in here and you're just hanging out, if you wander in, you're welcome to be here. You're welcome to jump in and actually just start participating. The more the merrier, but we're going to get down to it. Phase. There are 4 phases of gameplay which correspond to progressing to the higher zones on the figurative map. For now, let's just say each phase is comprised of 5 rounds. Round. For now, a round is when every player has gotten to take at least 1 turn. This definition will likely change as details are figured out. Cull. A cull is the transition from one phase to another, the time when a zone disappears off the figurative map. I like that. The cull. The culling. The cullining. You're culling people. You're culling board or map, zone, territory. The cull. I like that. All right. Step 1, game setup. How to set up the board. Pieces of the game. Start. Phase 1. What things does a player have to keep track of? Is there a game piece that helps them track stats? All right. So we're just kind of, this is all roughed in right now, which is great. To play. Okay, so let's take a look here. We've got 3 phases. And a phase, there are 4 phases of gameplay, which correspond to progressing to the higher zones. Okay, so we've got 4 phases here. 1, 2, 3, and final. At the start of the game, all players are in zone 0. Oh, yep. After 5 rounds, zone 0 will disappear. All players who are still in zone 0 at the end of round 5 are eliminated from the game. All players who are still in zone 0 at the end of round 5. 5 rounds in a zone. Yep, got it. Okay. So you got to get, that's great. Awesome. You got to get out of the zone in a phase. A phase has multiple rounds. You have 5 chances, 5 turns to survive and get, well, as far as we know right now, it's just get out of the zone. Okay? I like that. Phase 2, gameplay continues. After 5 rounds, zone 1 will disappear. Yep. All players who were, right? Okay. So that's zone 1. Then zone 2. And then finally, zone 3, the 4th and final zone. Gameplay continues. Zone 3 is the only area on the figurative map in play. All players are in zone 3 at this point. The final phase ends when there's only 1 player left. This player wins the game. Awesome. Easy, simple, great. Turn actions. Actions a player can take each turn. You can draw. You can buy. You can make an action. You take an action. And then there's a cleanup round. All right, question. Is there a culling mechanism happening while going stage to stage? Yes, an external timer is needed to reduce the playing field and force players into higher zones. Timer. A counter for how many rounds have passed would work the best, probably. Option 1, this could be an actual timekeeping mechanism such as an hourglass or stopwatch. Option 2, this could be a counter, such as counting the amount of turns that have passed, the number of battles occurred, or how many cards are left on the field, etc. All right. Is that a good stopping point just to kind of... Oh, no, wait. Phase 3, end of game. All right. Okay. Phase 3, end of game. Win conditions, the last one standing. Dave on base, I hope you are listening while you're multitasking, while you're writing out tax deductions or putting paneling back on a wall. I hope you can hear this. I'm not going to repeat it. Win conditions, the last one standing. We want to be able to allow a couple viable strategies, as well as some amount of chance to let someone become the last one standing. Because of this, I think we need to have something that is not just winning battles to be the deciding factor for who advances. I agree. I really do think that is key to this being having depth, having strategic depth. I also think it's just reflective of the Battle Royale game, because you really can be... You can make it a stealth game. You can kind of stay out of sight. You can avoid conflict until the very end. And in a way that you can win without ever killing somebody else in that game, in most of those Battle Royale games. So I agree. Okay, a player should be able to make it to Zone 3 for the final phase while employing the following strategies. 1. Battle. A. Kill everyone. Be aggressive. Get better weapons and beat everyone else to the punch. Literally. Kill people before they can advance to the next zone. Okay? B. Be prepared. Get the best armor, cover, etc. to withstand any battles you may enter. It doesn't matter if someone attacks you because you can endure it. So you're playing maybe a little bit more defensively, although you are gathering resources to be in a battle one way or another. You may not be instigating them, but you're prepared for battle. All right? 2. Hide. Man, reading my mind, Yujeko. Hide and bide their time. Avoid confrontation. Let other people duke it out. Sneak. Just make sure to get what is needed to advance to the next zone. Awesome. Run. Run. Try to get to Zone 3 as quickly as possible. Find the best mounts and get the hell out of Dodge. Deal with fighting others later if they can catch up to you. A player should not be able to make it to Zone 3 for the final phase by 1. Doing nothing. If someone tries to avoid conflict, they still need to do something in order to make it to the progressive zones. Yes. So, okay. Awesome. Fantastic. Trevor, are you making things on the board anywhere? Are you just kind of wandering around? I just see your cursors going, just kind of looking at stuff, checking it out. Be sure to let me know if you put something on the board you want me to take a look at, because that's how we're kind of doing this, just a high alert system. Ujako likes to just grab a Post-it note and put it in front of me on the screen and in like 200-point type shout at me in a Post-it note. And it works. I'm sorry that I allowed that condition to happen. I have it following you. You're not trying to be a distraction. You're no distraction, my man. You're part of this operation. And glad to have you here. And really, truly, if you see something, you want to make a comment or something, let me know, or just do it, and this is your board too. All right, rules about movement. How is it determined that a player moves from one zone to a higher zone? What if each player kept track of their movement with a 20 space counter or a 20-sided die? Nerd. And they needed to reach 20 spaces to get to the next zone. Okay. I'm going to read all your stuff before I start making comments, because I have a feeling you're anticipating all of my thoughts. Okay, so I like this little zone tracker. It might be kind of cool too. I mean, I know we've talked about this just being, all contained in cards, but the more I think about it, like some sort of a board might be kind of interesting for this, especially if you could have like your little totem, kind of marking where you are in the zones, and probably have some cool artwork for a board, I would imagine. But come back to that. I think it could be possible to move negatively or use movement as currency. A player could cause someone to lose movement with an injury or weird item. Cool. Negative movement. If a player is on space 7, they could receive negative movement 3 and then change to space 4. It's like sorry, right? Just you have to move backwards. A player can't be on less than 1 movement space while in zone 0. If a player receives, less than space 1, right? If a player receives negative movement while in zone 1, space 1, nothing will happen. Or maybe they just die. It'd be interesting because there's also this component to I know that we've talked about this, though, that you don't want to, like, if you're playing with 2 people and somebody dies right away, that's no fun, right? If you're playing with 100 people and these games move pretty quickly, it might be fun to have the real risk, the real urgency of, like, you land and you just get killed right out of the gate. But onward. If a player is in zone 1 during phase 1, before any of the board has disappeared, they could receive negative movement and end up in zone 0 again. Oh, right. Yeah. So if you've progressed into another zone before it's closed, right? You could go, like you said, you could make it all the way to zone 3. Maybe not in one phase. Maybe it takes a little longer. Okay. If a player is in zone 1 during phase 2, which is zone 1's phase, you know what? I wonder if we just need to change the zone numbers to 1 through 4 so that zone 1 and phase 1 are matched up versus zone 0 and phase 1. Is that crazy? Or are you doing that intentionally because phase 1 is the gateway to zone 1? If a player is in zone 1 during phase 2, if a player is in zone 1 during phase 2 after cull 1 and they are on space 1, it is not possible for them to receive negative movement. At this point in the game, zone 0 would no longer exist, and it is not possible to go off the map. Okay, so there's spaces 1 through 20 in zone 1 as well, versus it being spaces 21 through 40, right? So, and maybe you're just... I see. So that's why you've got the zone tracker, right? Because you could be on space 4 of zone 1. I see. Okay, that's smart. That's just to keep that reusable. Okay, I like that. I think movement needs to be the key indicator and would possibly act as currency. All that matters is that someone is able to get to zone 0, to zone 1, up to zone 3. It doesn't matter if they are full health or hanging by a thread. Okay? It doesn't matter if they are an impenetrable fortress or a weak mamby-pamby. Hey, let's not use names in this game, okay? Everybody's got a chance to be a hero. It doesn't matter if they are a rich Bill Gates or an itemless hobo. Again, with the names, let's stop it. That's interesting. It doesn't matter if they have a lot or little, right? As long as they can get themselves there. But I'm going to keep reading. This helps create multiple viable strategies to win for a balanced game. Yep, okay. Players use means in the game to gain or lose movement during a round. The marker is used to keep track of movement changes. If that marker is not at 20, but still in the disappearing zone, that person is eliminated during the call. So if you're in the zone, the disappearing zone during the call, if that marker is not at 20 but still in the disappearing zone, 20 is not the next zone though, right? Or is it? 1 is the next zone. So you couldn't be on if that marker is not at 20 but still in the disappearing zone. I'm not. If a player is at 20, they won't. Okay. If a player is at 20, they won't be eliminated in a cull. A player at 20 would be considered on the border of 2 zones. Okay. For example, I have a feeling that you have a reason why you thought this out. For example, in phase 1, where everyone starts in zone 0, if player A gains enough movement that they land in space 20, they can be open to attack by player B, who reduces them to space 17 or kills them. For example, in phase 1, where everyone starts in zone 0, if a player A gains enough movement that they land in space 20, they can be open to attack by player B, who reduces them to space 17. Because player B is in zone 1, that's why they're exposed. If this same player A gains enough movement that they would be at a higher number than space 20, they start back at 1 on the counter and count the remainder. Yep. They also move their zone counter up to zone 1. Since player A is in zone 1 now, player B cannot interact with them. As player B, player B is still in zone 0. Player B would have to gain enough movement that they transition into zone 1 if they want to interact with player A. Good. Okay, like that. Can B attack A? Zone 0 space 20. Zone 0 space 5. Yes, because they're in the same zone. Can B attack A? Zone 1 space 2. Zone 0 space 5. No, they're not in the same zone. Okay. Okay. You Jaco. That is awesome. That is some straight up logic. Is this old stuff? This is your board game references. Okay, you just moved your Dominion stuff over here. Maybe added a little bit more. I think this is all stuff we've seen before, right? Yeah. Okay. Man, nice work. Nice work. I think getting the movement stuff down is great. The question, I guess, is... Well, there's many questions, lots of thoughts. First of all, thank you. I think this is really smart. I love the zones. I love the slots, the 20 slots in each zone. I love that you can move it back and forth in between zones. I love that that could maybe... Okay, didn't add any more to Dominion. Thanks. I like that. I like that there's some strategy to that, right? Too, do I go back into a zone to try to get somebody? Can you move backwards negatively if you wanted to? Maybe, right? Yeah, okay, cool. The movement stuff, great. So let's go back to what you said up here, which I think I want to make sure I understand that movement is the key indicator. So your number one threat then is the culling of the zones. That's the number one threat to the player. Maybe very close behind that is combat with another player, right? But regardless, no matter what, your number one urgent operation is to move through the zones. I agree with that. So I think what's really interesting is that I think you've built a mechanic here that allows us to have a lot of... So let's talk about it, because you talked about mounts, right? You could... so let's say that you haven't... Okay, so let's say that there's a distance that you have to be from one another before an encounter can take place. So you said before somebody could be on space 5 and the other one on space 20 and attack, but we just need to determine what the criteria is for that, right? So maybe to attack beyond 10 spaces, you have to have a sniper rifle, right? So that's maybe possible, but only if they have the right equipment, or they have the right class, or haven't got... Yeah, got it. You know, I know. I'm not trying to punch holes in what you've already come up with. In fact, I'm thoroughly impressed with it. I'm just trying to say, like, if that is our key tenet, is movement, is that the fundamental building block for this? Is that our basement for this? I kind of think it can be. I mean, I really do, especially because of your postulation that if you want to have multiple strategies for people to be able to win the game, movement is the one, uh, you know, immutable factor in the game. Like, there's nothing you can do to stop the zones from culling, right? So that's the ultimate uh, arbitration between the players, right? Is that did you make it through into the safe zone? Then we can sort out everything else from that point. So if you say that movement is the key indicator, then everything around that should have an impact on your ability to move. So we talked about having constitution or stamina, right, which can either change your speed or your like distance per turn. If we were to say you have 5 rounds in a phase and you have 20 spaces that you have to move to be able to get to the next one, well, then my math tells me that that's an average of 4 spaces per turn. And let's say that you pick a class that can only go 3 spaces per turn if you're just doing a straight move. And there are potentially obstacles that you may have to draw, like on an action card. Like you draw it and it's like there's a you run into an oil spill or something and it slows you down to 2 turns for that round or whatever it might be. But likewise, there could be things that speed up your movement. So you found some what's the soft drink that they drink in Fallout? Nuka. You find some sort of stamina power up, right? And now you can move 5 spaces for that round. Or maybe you find a Jeep and you can jump in and it's a free pass to the next zone. So that's interesting to me. So the movement is the key indicator. So should everything have an impact on the movement? If it does, like you can't, so stamina, maybe health, or maybe they're consolidated just for simplicity's sake. You have to have a certain amount of health to be able to move at a normal pace or better. And so getting into a battle with somebody, maybe what we're not doing is like it's a death match. It's not a death match. It's just, are you reducing your ability to move having lost a battle? And I do think you need the threat of being killed at any point and eliminated. I just think you do, but maybe there's enough resources and enough sort of starting power that you can make it through some battles. But if you start to think like, well, I'm not going to gear up with a bunch of equipment because equipment slows me down, right? While I may be able to save my health in a battle, I'm not going to be able to move as quickly with all the armor on. You're considering battles more like blitz encounters. Okay. Is it something though, like, well, you said it in one of your paragraphs here, you said, man, you had so much stuff on here. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss it. You talked about gameplay. Yeah. So you can be aggressive. You can choose to get into as many battles as you want. We can kind of figure out at some point what it means to get into battles or how you get into battles. But I do like this idea of battles weaken you one way or another. You are putting your resources at risk every time you get into a battle, whether you instigate it or not. So let's say you have 100 health and you have let's just say we have 100 health. You have to manage that through the game because at some point diminished health is going to slow you down, and that's a real problem for your primary objective of moving. A certain amount of health may knock you out of the game for maybe a round where you have to like maybe in a phase you could miss a round or more because you ran out of health and you're waiting for your health to replenish. So you're just kind of lying there on the ground waiting to heal, let's say. And even if you heal, you maybe still haven't gotten you may be you may no longer be incapacitated, but your movement is restricted because you're still healing or something like that, right? I mean, there's a lot of I do think I think you nailed it. I mean, I really do think this movement as the key indicator is really super solid. So I would just say, like, if we use that as a variable, let's think about, let's go back to your and stop me. I just assume silence is compliance. Silence is compliance. While we're doing this, you'll correct me if I'm off course or anything, or if you disagree. Gee Whizmo, welcome in. You threatened to come in here, and here you are. Welcome. Gee Whizmo, we've got the Miro board. If you've used Miro before, you're welcome to join us. The link is in the thread here. It's in the chat. And Magical Trevor, I think, just pretty quickly was able to create an account. But this is what we've been working on, and we're just doing a little bit of a recap. Jaco's done a ton of thinking to kind of get to our basic mechanic. Jaco, you think a lot of these ideas I'm spitballing really translate well from video game experience to tabletop experience. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I think you've got like the right mix. Thought worst. Hey, buddy, somebody put something in your drink and you woke up here. Has anyone seen your keys? I think they are in phase 2, zone 1, cull 3. Hopefully you can find that on the board. If you click on Jaco up here, he's the guest pioneer. You can get to his marker. Did you see that, guys? You can just click on each other and go zipping over to where you are on the board. Which is kind of fun. That way you can find your way around. I don't know where your keys are, Thought Worst. But this is the last time we're going to have this conversation. And then we're going to take the keys away for good. Okay? Don't make me do it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Jaco, I think you've got this... Yeah, bringing out the dad voice. I've been doing that a lot. I think it's funny. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but my sort of pretend indignance on during the show is just kind of fun to me. I just love yelling at people. I don't get enough of it now that my girls are, well, they never really listen to me, but now they're not even around to. It's okay. Sweet caffeine will take that feeling away. Yeah. Yep. Dulls those edges. Yeah, I think we got something here, buddy. Jaco, I think you really got something here. Can't find the Miro link. Here we go. It's I think I just got it right here on my paste board. Is that it? Yep. Gee Whizmo, just jump on there. You can actually do it in the browser. You don't even need to download the Miro software. You should be able to just pop in, even as a guest. I think I've got it set up for you guys to be able to do it. And you're welcome to wander around and kind of look at stuff, read through stuff at your own pace, add things. Oh, I don't ever want to forget this. Thought Worst, have you seen this? Jaco, this might be your first time in Thought Worst, into the Thinkubator. Jaco had us going down a few weeks ago, had us going down this path where this whole game was about UDFs, making it from one UDF to the next UDF, just because of the way that they're located in the greater Cincinnati tri-county, tri-state region, which I thought was really funny, but we were calling it the last UDF for a little while. Just this post-apocalyptic world where you're trying to get in and get a carton of cigarettes and a malt and survive. Gary Fleckner hearts UDF ice cream. Yep. Ice cream. Ice cream really could be a big part of this whole game, actually. Well, you know what's cool? You guys know the game Munchkin, I bet, right? Munchkin's a card game that's it's a role-playing game, and I think, if I understand it correctly, I played it once long ago with my kids, but it's it's almost sort of like a generic RPG system. Yeah, it's like but it's just fun. I think it's very, very basic rules. But what I think they've done is they cross all kinds of genres. They've got let's go take a look. Let's go see if we can look up Munchkin. And I think they've actually licensed other properties to have like the Harry Potter Munchkin game, or that might be wrong, but let's see. This thing seems like it's a big publishing empire, and it's a Steve Jackson game. That makes sense. Let's see. Munchkin.game. This one might be good for us to look at too, especially because why? Yeah, so here we go. Munchkins and Mazes. I swear though they've had like even like not like out of the fantasy setting. Like maybe horror, space, or futuristic kind of stuff. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Let's see. Yeah, Star Munchkin, Landing Party, Munchkin Dungeon. Anyway, why couldn't we have a last UDF version? Finn plays Munchkin. That's good to know. We need Finn to 52-ounce boy. Is that what he's called? Is that what he is on here? I can't remember. Go back to here. Anyway, I do like. We had talked about all kinds of different potential genres. This still cracks me up. It still cracks me up. Circus people or carnies that are dropped into feudal Japan. This makes me laugh. I'll say, I think I'll try to say it every week until somebody does something with it. Funeral Express run funerals like a fast food service, so it's funeral home directors that are trying to survive. Stockbrokers, Congress people, game show contestants, Yelp reviewers. Yelp reviewers would be pretty good. Anyway, I think if we had the flexibility with genres, that could be really cool. And then you think about like this really could play out in just about any time period. There's probably ranged weapons and vehicle type objects and stuff that could map really easily to other genres. I think that'd be really cool. Well, we got about 15-20 minutes left tonight, and my apologies, guys. We usually go about 2 hours on this stream. Magical Trevor 2. You think you got caught up? Okay. Any thoughts on location influencing movement ability as a mechanic? Yep. Might want to avoid overcomplicating things, but people could be slowed. Yep. When they are like trying to battle run in the middle of the active freeway. Yep. Or in the local wilderness marshland or something. Yeah, we did. We've talked about, so it's possible, that each zone could have different sort of regionalities to it. Like now you're in a desert, and now you're in a rocky forest. Now you're in a freeway. Now you're on an active freeway. So yes, for sure. We've also talked about, and especially now with Yujako's revelation around movement as the key indicator of the game, we've talked about, if you draw, maybe there's a serendipity card or something that you draw in each round that's like a thing that occurs in the environment that's out of your control. Like there's an avalanche and you just got slowed down by two spaces a turn, or the bridge went out, or maybe somebody can blow up the bridge, right, as part of the game. So yeah, I mean, we talked about location having a big influence on movement, and it could also have an influence on other things. Like if you're able to find things on the ground, let's say, for instance, and I want to go back to Yujako had the different actions: draw, buy, action, cleanup, right? So maybe you're drawing from a discovery pile, and it could be that you find a weapon, or you find ammunition, or you find health, or you find nothing, or you find a power, like a special power up thing that helps, or a vehicle or something like that. Then you can buy things that can also impact your ability to move. So the more weapons you're carrying, the slower you are. The more armor that you have on, the slower you are. The better shoes you have on, the faster you move. The more energy you have. I don't know. I'm just kind of riffing on this, but again, I think if it all comes back to movement, you can make everything interact with that, I think, in a pretty meaningful way. We did talk about locations as cards, and Dave on base 32, I think he had been thinking about. Are you listening, Dave? How's your carpet replacement going? Are you putting up Christmas decorations? He's multitasking. I think he's blowing us off tonight. I would blow us off too, though. Oops, I'm doing this wrong. I'm moving the wrong thing. What's happening? All right. So he had location cards. You're randomly dealt location cards. So this is kind of interesting, Ujako, because I think this actually fits. Thought worst. Pick up, buy a sugary snack, and you can move 2 times faster at first and 2 times slower when you crash. Yep. That's maybe in the UDF version of the game where it's like how many containers of Polar Bear Crunch do you eat? All of them. It's so good. Have you guys ever had that? It's the one have we talked about this? Did I bring it up last time? I can't stop thinking about it. It's that electric white vanilla, like frozen chemical lard ice cream, the one that just tastes so sweet and delicious. And then it's got little chocolate crunchy things in it and white chocolate chunks. Ah. Polar Bear Crunch. I'm going to get some on my way on where I'm going after this. But I can't because I'm keto. I only eat ketos now, so I can't eat UDF. I think they sell ketos there, but I'm not sure. Anyway, Ujako, I think having location cards still makes sense, right? Because you get multiple locations in a zone, which is kind of fun. Because if that zone is like downtown metropolitan area, versus like you just came out of some wilderness, let's say, you get in that downtown area, and maybe you do draw a location card every 5 turns that you take or something. As you're moving through that zone, you're entering different like neighborhoods. Maybe there is like you wander into the uranium plant, and you get poisoned with radioactive isotopes or something, and that slows you down. You can have different decks of cards for each zone. That's right. Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe that's how this works. Maybe you have a different deck of cards for each zone. You can mix it up. Maybe this world that you're in, you don't even know what that next zone's going to be until that somebody pulls a zone deck out. Similar to Seven Wonders. Okay, good to know. Is that a card game? Yeah, because you could be at Hogwarts in one zone, and then you end up on Hoth on the next zone. And by Hoth, I mean Yoth, a non-trademark infringing ice planet. And by Hogwarts, I mean not Hogwarts. I mean Wizardton. The school for children with magical tendencies. And the one child who was born with a question mark scar on her chin. And her name is Harriet Wizardtree. Who's jotting this down? We've got a Miro board. This is what it's used for. Why are you not taking notes on my magic game that I'm coming up with? Similar to Seven Wonders, it's a cardboard game where you trade hands of cards, but each person gets a civilization board to keep track of advancing their civilization. Okay. Is that seven wonders? Okay. And then some of you guys are having Star Trek nerd references. I missed the Star Trek stuff. I love Star Trek, but I missed that one. All right. All right, guys. 10 minutes left. What would we like to do? Let's so you, Jaco, you put some real time and effort into this. Just in between. We didn't do this last week. We missed our time together. Do we want to like just have an assignment in between sessions, and we just keep it really loose? But what I would say is, let's take Jaco's movement mechanic as it is, and let's do a couple of things. One would be think through this stuff right here. So turn. We need to think about the phase, which has 5 turns. What happens in a turn? And the objective is to kind of figure out if you have your player has things like health, and we've done this before somewhere on here, guys. So I'm just drawing it out again though here, so we've got it connected. You've got health, you've got armor, you have offense, you have speed. Offense maybe has range and power. Health, armor, offense. Then you've got what else would we? What are some of the low hanging things that all of these would impact your speed, right? And we'll say armor equipment, because you may have equipment that's not armor, right? But like if you're going to play the stealthy, speedy guy, maybe you've got the fleet-footed boots of the monkey or whatever these things are, right? That makes your speed go up +1 or something like that. Anyway, why don't we think about so we also, let's see, where did we have, oh yeah, let's see, some of these were kind of written down at one point. Items, gear. Yeah, we've drawn this a number of times, right? So here, we were kind of using these as sort of deck references. Well, I don't know. There's a couple of things. There's cards, and then there's these things, these variables that are going to be... Yep, and also sugary snacks. Thank you. Oh. Sugar level. We could do like a diabetes game. You diabeat me. It's writing itself. Right into the ground. Anyway, if you guys are feeling it and you want to get back on the Miro board and you are inspired by Jaco's prolific effort here, which I think is really great, let's build off of this, and let's talk next time specifically. Dave back. Dave's floating around, multitasking. Let's talk about the turns. Let's get laser focused on turns next time, and that's this area up here. Turn actions, and currently proposed by Jaco. You draw, you buy, you have an action, and you clean up. And if you go back and reference, they had some cleanup phase. All cards a player just played, as well as whatever is in their hands, gets puts in the discard pile. Then player draws a new hand. If the player's draw pile is gone, they shuffle the discard pile to make a new one. This is a reference to the Dominion game, but there's something in that turn that is like, yeah, what did you spend and what did you pick up, and there's the cleanup phase of that turn. Yeah, that feels good. Because then, if we all come in this with a very concentrated focus on what a turn looks like, then I think we're going to raise all those new questions about, well, are you keeping track of this thing, or does it just show up on a card? Does everybody start with the same amount? Do we have different classes? I think we can start to poke into that a little bit. It feels like we're getting really close to actually having like what feels like a basic structure for gameplay. Pretty exciting. Hot dog. All right. Well, guys, again, sorry this is a quick night, and I know everybody had a lot of stuff cooking anyway. For Thoughtworst and G Wismo and Magical Trevor 2, welcome in. This is about what it's been like. Miro really changed the game for us because before that, I was just doing sketches on the sketch. I was doing sketches on the on my tablet here, and just kind of trying to take everybody's notes as they were coming up in the stream. But it really changed the game when we were able to just work simultaneously. I mean, like, huge. Limit of number of seats in the Miro team. Yeah, it's a good question, Paul. So, did you have trouble getting in? Did you get in? Did you try? I'm sorry, maybe I missed. All seats are taken. Oh, shoot, I saw that up there. All seats are taken. Well, you know what? There's definitely, I think my account allows for any number of guests. So maybe what you need to do is come in as a guest. Or maybe I can look and see, like, if we keep this small, maybe I just pay incrementally to add more seats. I'm not quite sure how that works. So sorry that you couldn't get in. Could you not even get in? Or were you just limited to what you could do once you were in there? Let me see what invite link to board and team. Can edit. Team access to board. Let me see what sharing settings. Yeah, Trevor might have. I might have invited Trevor to the team, but that I can only have one other team member. I think that's what I'm paying for right now. I'm gonna remove Trevor from the team. Sorry, Trevor. You're not. Well, I hope that doesn't remove you. It looks like you're still in the. Trevor has been removed from. Are you still here, Trevor? Maybe what I did was Trevor, did you get kicked off the board? Or has it changed what you're able to do? I think I might have just sent the link. I might have sent the link to the. Yeah, okay, that's what I did. Here, Paul, let's do this. This is the board link. Try the board link. You're not on any team, Dave on base 32. Magical Trevor 2, if for some reason you can't do stuff, maybe just go back out and come back in through that board link, and then I think you'll be able to operate the same way that everybody, because we had Dave and you, Jaco, and I were working. Make your own team? I don't know if you need to make a team. I don't think. Do you need to be on a team just to even come in? Okay, here's Trevor again. Let me see what my sharing settings look like. Real actual people Royale. Move board to project. Board will be automatically shared. Okay. I think who's in now? Everybody is everybody in? You didn't need to be on a team. You don't even need an account. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, and Dave on base, I don't think you need to be on any teams. I don't think Ujako has refused to even sign up for an account. Ujako's got some pretty deep issues with social media platforms. I don't blame them. That's, you got to do your own thing. be a guest, be an anonymous guest. It's great. Asking what your team is. Yeah, I'm not sure, G Wismo. I'm not sure. I'll look into it. I'll see if there's yeah, thank you. See if you can figure out what's going on, and I'll do the same. Guys, do you remember I know that you Jaco and Dave on bass do. I'm also going to give you guys this link because Miro, we can leave comments to each other. But I'm going to send the link to the Discord out now too. Let me do this. Okay. This is Discord, and then you guys can come in here, and this is where we can have persistent conversations. And Dave and Yujako have both been putting some good stuff up there. Dave, you had Munchkin up in the Discord. I wonder if you just planted a seed in my subconsciousness. You were already on top of it. Just left the team. The plain board link works. Awesome. Yeah. So G Wismo, try that board link because I think. Yeah, I got to look at my account settings, Dave, on base 32. I think you guys. I believe I'm at the tier because I'm paying for this. I definitely paid. There's G Wismo. Nice. Yep. Sweet. Okay. Looks like you're in. And we all can make things and we can all delete things. Matt, are you able to get in? Or are you still around? You should just... I suspect you'll be able to get in. No trouble. All right, gang. Dang, I'm sorry to do this with everybody just already kind of revving up. This is awesome. I'm so glad to have all of you guys here. This is fun. I really do think we're just a couple steps away from having like some sort of playable prototypey kind of a thing. So let's keep on keeping on. This is really cool. Have a great night. I'm going to be back on tomorrow with Imagivate Live. I hope you'll join for that. Thanks for coming in today with Sarah. That was really fun. We had a good time. You know what? She sent me a note. I'll talk about this tomorrow on the stream, but you guys should think about this because I think most of you guys were around. You, Jaco, maybe you didn't make it in. Yeah, just sweeping in and take credit. You son of a bitch. Sarah sent me a note afterwards saying like, hey, were all of the ideas so tame because you had someone on the stream whose stuff you were talking about? Like she was wondering if like she by just being part of the experiment affected the experiment. You know what I mean? I don't know what that phrase is, but because she was a little worried about us like beating up her world, and you know that she knows that there are a lot of cheesy people out there doing like team building and stuff like that, and she's always sensitive to it coming off kind of cheesy and stuff. So she was a little worried about us coming up with subtitles for her book, Heisenberg Effect. Thank you, Dave on base 32. That's right. So she sent me a note just saying like, hey, did I mess it up because it was my thing? And I was like, yeah, I definitely think people were being really nice. I think you guys were being nice. I know a lot of you guys actually know her, have worked with her and stuff before. So that's something to think about. I want to talk about it tomorrow actually on the stream, and maybe be patient zero in that experiment and put myself out there and have everybody just get comfortable making fun of me or like kind of putting terrible ideas out that actually are kind of personal, because I felt like we pulled a lot of punches today, and I don't think she wanted punches pulled. I really don't. I think it was just I just think we all were just in kind of a squishy place because it's like this is her book, this is her dream and everything. So you weren't pulling any punches, Dave on base 32. I don't know. It felt like we weren't getting snarky enough, or it felt like we weren't being sharp edged enough, but. Yeah, you're just having a terrible day being terrible, G Wismo. It was a trickier brief. Well, it also just wasn't a very outlandish request. You couldn't remember a word and missed your chance with a subtitle. Yeah, it was. I I don't know. It was just weird. It was a different one. Anyway, I just think it's something to talk about because I do think if we're using this for real productive purposes, and what's really interesting is that we actually, I would even say on this project, we have strayed away from talking about terrible ideas for a while. Maybe that's actually something else we need to brief. You know what? Let's do that next Thursday. Well, on Thanksgiving. I'll see you guys here after Thanksgiving dinner. We'll figure out when we do it again, but we should definitely do some warm-ups with each other on this show and get some terrible ideas flowing, because all of the stuff that I brought back up, some of that stuff that I thought was so much fun. I think we're being real caretakers now with this game, trying to answer questions and try to make it good, and we may be missing some special stuff if we aren't being terrible. So anyway, that's it for me. I got to run or I'm going to get in big trouble. Love you guys professionally and personally, for those of you who who you are. I'm glad to be here with you. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you have a great night, and I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Take care, guys.